What's going on, everybody? I meant to make a video last night, but I kind of forgot and went to sleep. But it was kind of like that I finished reading this about after about 2 months reading it off and on. It would have been sooner, but either totally forgot that I was reading something, or I was just straight up busy with something else, like I don't know, schoolwork, that one old thing, I guess, that you have to do to pass. Anyway, like what I said before I started reading it. Basically, it's more or less like a compilation of I'm not sure if all the appearances, but maybe just the most popular, maybe the most the appearance that best represents that decade the best. uh, Good, dating back from the original appearance of the Scarecrow all the way to the most current appearance of Scarecrow. I'm assuming, like I said, it probably like the best of compilation or whatever. But what I find interesting about it, like how it evolved. Like when it first debuted, it was just kind of like he used a cheesy gimmick, like he was a scarecrow, and then he would leave behind straws and kind of like scare people or whatever. And then slowly it integrated with what the scarecrow we know of today, like using toxic chemicals and other formulas to kind of like make the character more believable, I guess. Because like in the old time, not like old time per se, but like when his first debuted, it was just really campy, really just guy that was like, I'm gonna scare you, and I'm gonna like, do really cheesy stuff, and it kind of felt like the earlier, not just Scarecrow himself, but like the early days of Batman and comic books in general. It didn't really feel like develop the plot a lot. It was just kind of like, okay, it was just very basic, very simple kind of storytelling, and then as the years went on, like the storytelling got a little bit more complex. It was like the characters had a reason for doing stuff, and like explained in another video, not of mine, but in a NerdSync video, like the different ages of comic books. And at first I thought it was like when you're 12 and you're whatever, but it's actually means like the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, the Modern Age, all this other stuff, and it kind of makes sense because in some stories it has the comic books code of authority, which is basically is like the MPAA rating of movies or the parental advisory on music. It's kind of like that. It's like it tells the comic book writers, it's like, well, tone it down a little bit for the younger audiences, because the younger audience is actually reading this. So it's like that whole controversy is like, what you put in comic books is like it's influencing kids to like act out or whatever. But which I think is kind of funny though, because that argument is just, it kind of doesn't make sense, because I mean, humans have a history of being violent and just generally nasty to each other. So I wouldn't say like art is the reason why people act up. People act up because people suck. Point blank. I mean, there isn't like a reasoning like, oh well, because they watched Pulp Fiction, they picked up that language. No, they probably picked up that language because maybe their parents didn't tell them like, what the language that they're using isn't meant for kids and whatever. I mean, like, I mean, I watched some R-rated movies when I was a kid, but I was like told like, oh well, you know this is just a movie, just don't reenact it, blah blah blah, and whatever. I mean, it doesn't fall on the art, it falls on the parenting. Anyway, I think I got distracted enough. But yeah, no, it's like really interesting. And I like how the art changes over time. It went from like just 2D kind of flat to like later on it's like everything just pops. I mean, like, I guess this frame, for instance, it just really it just looks more like a kind of a picture, turned into like a drawing, like one of those apps where you take a picture of yourself and then someone draws it or whatever. That's how it kind of feels like it, and it's really interesting. And the next book I'll be reading is hold on. I don't know my book bag. I should have put it on the table next to me, but I didn't. Yeah, the next book that I'll be reading is The Return, and it's basically like John Barnes, I mean, well, actually, there's two authors here. John Barnes is a main primary writer, and you know, since it's about space and astronauts and shit like that, like he got a co-writer, which is the actual like astronaut, which I think is pretty cool. Like, I mean, obviously, I didn't like get a chance to open it yet. I bought it like I don't remember. I think it might have been back in November or something. I'm not really sure. Like it's funny because I kind of have a habit. I mean, I have a lot of books, but I kind of have a habit of like when I'm almost done with one book, I buy another one at a local library, and it's pretty cool because I mean, Barnes and Noble was okay and everything, but it just seems kind of like like a little snooty or whatever. But like in the library, the literally the library that I live next to, they sell their books like at a bookstore for like 50 cents or a quarter, like really really low, like under $1 type of thing. So you could, I mean, maybe for like a few dollars, you could get like several books, and that's pretty cool. And like I mean, Barnes and Noble is all well and fine, but like support your local bookstores, because I mean, you support your local bookstores, then like it stays in the community versus you buy like at a big chain. I mean, like there's nothing wrong with buying it from a big chain necessarily, but it's just you know if you buy from your own local area, like your own local coffee shop, bookstore, or whatever, you're supporting your community, but at the same time, you know it's also good to buy from like like a corporate business or whatever, like Starbucks or I mean it's your money. You use it how you want it. I'm not gonna say like, oh, you should buy locally and or else or whatever. I mean, I don't really care what you do with your money, but I'm just kind of like putting it out there, like you decide what you want to do with your money because it's your money. So yeah, this has been the book episode. I think I'm just I don't really know, like have like a shape, my YouTube channel. I just do videos because I enjoy it, you know. I guess. I mean, I'm not at that level where like I get paid from my subscribers, but one day that'd be cool. Anyway, I think that pretty much wraps up everything about the book episode and everything, whatever. So yeah, if you like what I do and like the video that I make, please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And if you want to be notified for future videos, please hit that bell at the right there at the bottom. And I am out like the Flash, and see you with another video.